Dark Lyrics from Childhood Songs, Part 3. This is a classic 90s alternative jam that a lot of us in our 20s and 30s grew up with. But the lyrics in this song are probably a lot darker than some of us might have realized. Even the look and feel of the video is just so dark and dreary feeling.
Oh, you get me ready in your 56 Chevy. Why don't we go sit down in the shade? Took shelter on my front porch. The dandelion sun scorching like a glass of cold lemonade.
Well, it sounds like they just got done banging in his old classic car or whatever the fuck. And then it's a hot ass day, so they decide, hey, why not go sit on the front porch for a little bit? You know, take a load off.
I will do the laundry if you pay all the bills.
So she's in a relationship with this guy. A relationship that she seems to be setting the terms and conditions for, which is kind of weird since a relationship is supposed to be a mutual agreement. So what she's telling him is that in exchange for him paying all the bills, she'll do one of the household chores that takes almost no effort to do, which is doing the laundry. That doesn't seem like a fair trade-off at all. That's a lot of financial strain that she's putting on this dude so early in the relationship especially. And this was 1997, not 1957. A lot of families couldn't survive off of a single income even back then. So the condition that she's setting with her doing the laundry while he pays all the bills is just ridiculous, stupid, unrealistic, and toxic as all fuck.
Where is my John Wayne? Where is my prairie son? Where is my happy ending? Where have all the Cowboys gone?
So it's a little hard to tell what she's getting at here, but what I'm thinking is that these vague country references are what she would consider a real man or a strong man in her opinion. Where have all the strong men gone, I suppose? But she does ask where is her happy ending, which indicates that she's probably not satisfied with the relationship that she's in right now. But how is that possible when she's the one setting all the terms? That's like building a car with no engine and wondering why the fuck it doesn't drive. You're the one who built it that way, so why the fuck are you complaining about it?
Why don't you stay the evening, kick back and watch the TV, and I'll fix a little something to eat. Oh, I know your back hurts from working on the tractor. How do you take your coffee, my sweet?
So the guy has been working his ass off all day at the farm, making a living to pay all the bills while she sits on her ass at home. The least she could fucking do is make him some dinner and a cup of fucking coffee. That's not really something to brag about, that's just common goddamn courtesy. What we're hearing is the glimpse into the depressing life of a rural couple where the woman bosses the man around all day while he works his ass off so that they can make ends meet. But it gets even deeper than that. Listen to what she says in this next lyric.
I will raise the children if you pay all the bills.
So she reveals to the listener that she's either having a baby or maybe they have one already. At least now it makes more sense as to why she would be home all the time, because even raising one child can be a full-time job. But then, why doesn't she want better for her child than to have a man around whose only purpose in being present is taking care of the financial aspect of things? There's far more that comes with being a father than making sure that the bills are paid on time. Does she not want him to be present for those precious moments in parenthood, like his first words or their first steps? Like, those are precious moments that most fathers shouldn't want to miss. It seems that she's already setting up her child to have a pretty rough childhood very early on, and that's fucked up beyond belief. And if the father is willing to put his job over the needs of his only child, then he's just as trash as she is.
Where is my John Wayne? Where is my
Me, whine, whine, whine. What about your child's happy beginning? Don't you think you should stop thinking about yourself for once, you fucking self-centered cunt? Oh, boo-hoo. You're crying because he's not noticing that you're wearing a new dress that you bought with his money? Who gives a fuck? This entire song, you've been bitching and moaning about how unhappy you are, whilst not giving one iota of a fuck about how your kid's gonna feel about having a father whose only purpose in being present is paying the bills, and that's it. Nothing else. What the fuck is wrong with you? And to top it all off, she is the one who set the stage for all of this bullshit to be happening. She said that she would do the laundry if he paid all the bills, and she would also raise the children if he paid all the bills. She clearly doesn't give a single fuck about how her child is going to feel about this situation once he or she grows up, as long as all of her financial needs are met. And yet she has the audacity to bitch and moan about her man not noticing her in a new dress that she didn't even buy with her own fucking money? Fuck her. The real question is the father man enough to say enough is enough of this bullshit, dump her sorry ass, and take his kid with him?
We finally sold the Chevy when we had another baby, and you took that job in Tennessee.
Oh, well, that's just fucking terrific. So you sold the car that you conceived the first child in, and now you have a second child, whom I'm sure you're going to neglect the feelings of, just like the first one, while you continue to bitch and moan about how unsatisfied you are with your relationship. Unfucking believable. And on top of all that, the father now has to take a job out of state, or presumably pretty far away from wherever the hell they were living before, so that he can make sure that the bills are paid and the kids are fed, because this bitch refuses to get off her lazy ass and hunt down a job, so that while she's working, he can take turns being the parent with her, rather than having all the financial stress being put on him. What a fucking load of shit.
You made friends at the farm, and you join them at the bar almost every single day of the week.
So you mean to tell me that this asshole has time to meet his friends at the bar almost every single day of the week, but no time at all to spend time with his two kids? Well then fuck him too. He's a piece of deadbeat goddamn trash. I don't give a fuck if he does pay the bills. That's not all there is to being a goddamn father. Like, seriously, fuck the both of these damn characters. This just goes to show that they were perfectly okay with this fucked up situation to begin with, starting from when they banged in that damn 56 Chevy at the beginning of the damn song. This was a win-win scenario for the two of them. She gets to sit at home all day with the babies, while he goes off and works all day, and then during his spare time, he goes to the bar with his buddies and gets fucking plastered off his ass. Because he never gave one iota of a fuck about his two kids anyway. Clearly, because he would rather spend his spare time getting drunk at the fucking bar with his buddies than spending what little time he has where he's not working to be a parent to his two children. Fuck him. But you know who doesn't win in this scenario? Their two children. They're going to be forced to live in a household where the mother is overworked from taking care of the both of them, and the father is overworked from having to work all day to pay off all the goddamn bills, and they're never going to be able to see their father until he comes home piss-ass drunk and passes out on the fucking couch.
I will wash the dishes while you go have a beer.
Translation: I don't give a fuck if you're a deadbeat alcoholic piece of shit who could care less about spending time with his only two children. I'll do all the household chores and raise both of our kids. As long as you bring home the bacon, you can drink like a fish.
Where
kind of ironic how she mentions the Marlboro Man, who was a mascot for Marlboro cigarettes. The Marlboro Man was a symbol of masculinity and cool for a lot of youth growing up between the 50s and the 90s, when smoking was seen as the cool thing to do. And quite a few men have played the character of the Marlboro Man over the years. And you know what happened to a lot of them? Well, they fucking died. Yep, not every Marlboro Man model died, but a handful of them did, because they spent their entire lives doing something that was extremely damaging to their health. In their case, it was smoking. However, in the case of the two parental figures, quote unquote, in this song, they're going to put themselves into an early grave just like those Marlboro men did. Only instead of smoking as the cause of death, it'll be from the years of physical and mental anguish, stemming from the way they chose to raise their kids. The mother effectively taking on the role of both being their mommy and their daddy, and cleaning up the house all day, while the actual father works all day and gets piss-ass drunk all night because he doesn't give enough of a shit to spend any of his free time to help raise his two kids. So here we have one parent who doesn't give a fuck about their kids enough to even raise them, and the other one, being the mom, who doesn't give a shit about how they would feel about this entire situation and won't do anything to get them out of it. As long as all of her financial needs are met, she could give two fucks about how her kids feel. She didn't even bother to confront him about the fact that he's an alcoholic piece of garbage who would rather spend all of his free time drinking at the bar with his buddies rather than spending any time to help raise the two kids. The only thing that she even bothered to bitch at him over was the fact that he didn't notice her in a new dress that she didn't even buy with her own goddamn money. What a pathetic waste. Both of these parents are absolute goddamn trash, and those kids deserve way better than to have them as parents. I know this video took on a much more serious tone than the last two, but you know what? This type of shit hits very close to home for me personally. Stay tuned for part 4 of Dark Lyrics in Childhood Songs.